I'm Mark Snyder here at the New Hampshire State Republican Convention 2006, and I'm standing with House Representative David Bickford of Stratford County and Dr. Mark Klein, who has formed an exploratory committee for possibly running for the presidency in 2008. Representative Bickford was just present upstairs as a delegate, right, where the delegates to the New Hampshire State Convention voted to amend the state Republican platform in support of a presumption of joint custody. Can you tell us more, Representative Bickford, and about how you've worked on these issues in the past?
Well, I've been working on this for over 10 years on these issues, and we had in the platform, Republican platform that is, that there would be equitable treatment of both parents when it came to custody of their children. Today, we just put in there would be a presumption that there'll be equal time with the parents. So Republicans are taking a lead again in the rights of parents and to bring children closer to the parents. This is big.
Republican principles are working across America, and that's why the Commonwealth PAC that Bruce is happy to chair and that I'm working to raise money for is going to continue to support Republican candidates like Jim Coburn, like Jeb Bradley, like Congressman Bass.
Like Dr. Klein is endorsing, then you wouldn't have to worry about it from a state level.
Yeah, I think that this is a tremendous achievement, and it reflects the effort that all of us are making to bring this to a national issue. I think that now that the non-custodial parents, the friends of the family, have decided to make the family a #1 issue in the 2008 election, all of a sudden on the state level, you're starting to see the ice break up.
Yeah, our people got to jump on board.
You should tell them what Lightfoot said, too.
When I say our people, I mean the Republicans need to jump onto this thing and not get left behind.
That's largely the reason I had to run is because the Dean of the Senate, Senator Sheila Roberge, in that district, who's been up there in Concord at the State House for 22 years and 11 terms, was essentially amongst the leaders of the Republican faction that opposed equal parenting legislation.
Republican principles help people, and that's what this is all about.
You only get one parent in federal laws that we have, and we've got to change that. And it would be great to have somebody like you working on that for us.
Well, in a Klein administration, a number of things are going to happen. #1, marriage is a state matter, and it's going to become a state matter. My administration will not incentivize divorce by paying subsidies to the states to collect child support, to jail fathers or mothers in arrears.
Unilateral action on Mitt Romney's part without reason, and certainly it violated the Constitution because he can't make law any more than the court can make law. So what we're seeing is both judicial tyranny and executive tyranny.
My name is Michael Gianolis. I'm very proud to be involved in the movement that might see a better chance for children to have a meaningful and loving relationship with their fathers. And so I come to this conventions like this all the time, this Republican convention in Concord, New Hampshire here. I'm a candidate for representative in the Rye-Newcastle district of New Hampshire, hoping to get on the child and family law and influence family policy and the like.
So Jeff O'Legley, my favorite here in New Hampshire, and nice to chat with you. A lot of great things to say and a lot of good promotional techniques to sell the need for fathers to have children in their lives and vice versa.
Fathers and mothers. This is Representative Ken Weiler from New Hampshire, running for the House, Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the House, I represent Kingston, Hampstead, and Plaistow, Rockingham District 8. I believe in equal rights in all divorces for both parties, to it, the husband and the wife.
A fellow by the name of Paul Clements of Dads Against Divorce, Dads for short. He's been very active and helped tremendously to get us established a commission on the status of men here in New Hampshire, the world's first.
We're here to see if the Republican Party's candidates will back up the Republican Party's new platform plank of support for shared custody.
I can't tell you the answer to that because I don't know. Hey Jim, how are you? Good to see you. How are you?
800 miles. I didn't drive 800 miles as a kid.
I do have a website, which I'd like to point out, that people might want to check into, which has a 5-minute spiel of mine, and it's called www.livefreenh.org. I have borrowed space on there, which outlines my position relative to the family.
Child poverty levels are only determined based upon the income at one of the parents' households. So if the child is in poverty at the non-custodial parent's household, as long as they're not in poverty at the custodial parent's household, that child isn't listed in the child poverty levels. Essentially, the child poverty levels are a sham.
There are just too many non-custodial parents, mostly fathers, who simply can't afford an apartment anymore, living in their cars.
What we don't recognize often is that both households need to be able to have the money to raise those children, instead of just sending it all to one household and leave the other one empty-handed.
There needs to be a system to account for the expenses that the non-custodial parent is putting out in excess of the child support.
Clearly, that child has to be in an environment where there is enough funding in the non-custodial parent's household to provide appropriate shelter, clothing, food.
We have created an enormous underground of people that have dropped out of the economy because they've been financially destroyed.
No, that's correct.
And then a generation of children who are growing up dysfunctionally because one of their parents, oftentimes their father, has been disenfranchised and removed from their lives meaningfully.
My ad in the Washington Times is going to read, "Shame on the GOP to give terrorist suspects more rights than American non-custodial parents, mostly fathers, usually stripped of meaningful contact with their children and rape financially by excessive child support."